to say 6 or 7 that I've seen them snatch out of the crowd, out of the front here. And at one point, they came into the back and drugged them. I'm assuming they took some people that way too. I don't know. There's been 6 or 7 so far from the front.
I went home after the nice peaceful event that I went to, and was home looking at my videos, and all of a sudden someone called me and said that there was crap happening downtown here.
These people, I mean, you know, they've just not been.
The crowd over there.
I just don't think they've been nice to these guys at all.
Yeah, I was over there and I had to walk away from a couple people because it wasn't what I'm representing.
Well,
but I'm documenting and I'm down here for peace, but I'm trying to document too. Just
now, these are a bunch of 25-something-year-olds that are just being a bunch of jackasses.
Yeah, the only thing that maybe that sometimes happens in the dynamics is when somebody gets arrested, then everybody goes to the police station and kind of like let them go, you know, that kind of a scenario.
Well, they came down here before. I mean, they knew the cops knew they were coming down here before, and they just ended up coming down. But even when it was daylight out, the cops were sitting around the corner with the big speaker truck saying, you know, stay on the sidewalk. We're not closing traffic. Stay on the sidewalk. And then they decided to
go out and block the sidewalk.
Lay on the street.
Could you think they could have been peacefully arrested? Because I heard there's some, billy clubbing and stuff like that.
Billy club anybody. I didn't see
no billy clubbing and none of that kind of.
Oh, okay. Any of that stuff. In fact,
I've heard kids walking through the park saying, "Yeah, and he just hit me with the billy stick." No.
They were a couple of people that got hit because they were throwing. They had their signs, and they were using their signs to
whack and swing at the police.
And so the cops were, hitting. But every time the cops have come across, the crowd runs. So there's really been no direct, where they've slammed. And the cops have they've all stopped at that curb. They have not.
What curb? Oh, into the park?
Yeah. They've not gone to the curb.
Yeah, I really don't want to see any violence. I just hate to see that,
They were taunting them. I mean, they were really.
Well, there's where, I'm really interested. How do forces handle that moment when everybody's up, there's a critical moment happening. And that's where you need that precision.
Well, the one guy one of the guys they actually maced him. He kept riding his skateboard down the wrong way of traffic. And they kept telling him, "Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. You're going to because they weren't blocking traffic. You're going to get hurt. You're going to get hurt." And then he fuck you, and then he spit at them. So when he came back around, he was right there at the curb, and was screaming at them. And so they went over there.
Sometimes you make your bed, you lie in it.
Exactly. That's just it.
And sometimes maybe you make your bed lying in the street, and maybe you get arrested. And that's what probably, if I laid out there, that's what I'm intending to do, is get arrested.
Well, that's just
and
it.
Hopefully not beat up, but just arrested.
But see, when they come, you're going to get arrested. But they lay in the street, and when the cops come, they kick, they scream, they bite.
Well, see, no,
that wasn't wrong.
You got to be peaceful. Then it's a civil, peaceful disobedience.
There was only one person, the first girl they arrested. She laid down the street, and they went over there. They swarmed at her. She laid there. They handcuffed her. She, of course, did the passive resistance thing.
Can I point this at you?
Sure, if you want.
Let me see. I don't even I don't know if I got it all zoomed out here. Let me see. Or at least it's not even a night vision camera, but I appreciate you just telling me anyway.
They were very nice. I mean, they picked her up. She didn't resist. She didn't, and they took her right up the stairs and took her right into the lobby. But everyone else that they've arrested, they had one guy over here on the other paddy wagon. When they were starting to pat him down, he started kicking and screaming. I didn't like what he did.
Even then,
you're arrested. You have your handcuffs on. You did your job. They did their job. Let it go. I mean, you knew that they were going to come get you and arrest you. Why are you still fighting with them? That's what I don't understand. I think they lose the message. The cops then don't look at you as a protester. They look at you as just, as
a hell-raising rebel-rouser, somebody looking for a fight, looking for trouble.
I mean, my aunt, she used to protest. She lived here in Portland for 30-something years, and she used to protest back in the 80s. And in fact, some of her friends they just threw a bottle of water at that cab.
See, what starts to happen, too, is like groups then antagonize to the point where they cause another reaction. And it snowballs. The other problem is you got a whole bunch of people, and so that's going to be you got to be careful too. Is when do you let a water bottle go? Do you let
they haven't responded to them.
It may be just better to let certain things go in the bigger spectrum.
And that's what these guys have done.
The politics, and you got to appreciate that when that happens.
The only people they've snatched are the people who are laying on the street. And the one guy who was throwing, he actually had thrown a bottle and he made it all the way across. and I know that it hit a cop, and I know that they grabbed him.
So those are actually serious charges to do stuff like that.
It is.
Throwing something at a police officer.
That can hurt him, you know, and that's just it. I understand that you have a problem with them, but why you know. And the other part that really pisses me off is these guys are getting $35, $45 an hour for overtime, and that really just chaps my ass. That this minority of people are.
Yeah. Hey, now one thing you can feel good on is they didn't throw in 300 million cops at the peaceful protest march that walked through town. There was hardly any, and it went without a hitch. And it was smooth, and you didn't see fight.
You know, they were all sitting down here waiting for these people.
Yeah.
You know, because everyone knew that these people. I mean, I'm not involved in the movements or anything like that, but you know, on the internet, you know, when you type it in. It was all over the different blogs what all these people were going to do. This was. They said they were going to do this, and they said they were going to talk.
Well, the tension in the streets is rising. Just people are now. Maybe they're not directing it in the quiet. You know, I can see the tensions rising to the point where more protests are happening. More people are getting civil disobedient. More and more. But you got to use it in good taste. You know, and be respectful in your civil disobedience. I feel like if you're taking it. We'll see, and I just hope it doesn't have to get really stupid ugly, you know.
Well, I think what these cops are doing, I think what they did was a very good idea to just sit back and take a break and relax, and I think that's very smart. Whoever had them do this was very smart.
Yeah. That's excellent thought too. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, and it just to me it just shows the restraint the police have. I really, you know, but you know, a lot of their blogs said, you know, we're going to have let's make a repeat of 2003. Let's make a, you know, there was
which was a good year, right?
Well, no, it was a bad year. I guess it was the year that all the fighting.
The rowdies were saying, let's make a repeat.
Yeah, let's make a repeat of 2003. And like when I was talking to that one Portland police sergeant, when I was talking to Max, she was probably she's a heavy-set sergeant, but she said, you know, if we weren't working, half of us would be in the protest.
Sure, and I bet they would somewhat, you know.
And you know, but she had a good point. She said, you know, these people are just being destructive, and that's what they're. You know, when they were spitting on the Max, when they were over here off by Pioneer Square, when they were protesting over there, they had a confrontation with the cops off of Broadway. They were spitting on the Max, who was waiting for to clear the track, and they started spitting all over it. And I could not figure that out for the life of me, because a lot of these people probably take the Max every single day. In the Fairless Square and such. Why they would be spitting on the public transit, again, it's just... That bothered me.
It's disrespectful and disgusting and uncalled for. And
as a taxpayer, it really pisses me off. Because that's, you know, I mean, I know we all contribute to TriMet and such. I don't run TriMet. I've never been on the public bus, to be honest with you. But just the fact to see people spitting on the... you know, I moved here from Las Vegas in October. We don't have anything like this. We don't have a public transit. These people shouldn't be spitting on it. They should be cleaning the bus.
Oh, no, was that today?
Yeah. So this was part of this group before they came here. They were over there.
Yeah.
So.
Well, they're not. They don't represent all us Portlanders. And there's some heat in the air tonight.
Yeah.
And one of the dynamics that I think is happening is there is. It goes back to the masses in the streets in the uprising. And like I say, I'm down here trying to do it. I have a web blog and some stuff myself, and I'll give you the address here in a second.
Okay.
But there's people using their energies in positive ways. It may get a little bit rowdy. I was down filming a guy who got arrested at the senator's office the other day. And 3 people trying to talk to Senator Smith.
Yeah, I've seen those on the internet.
And, you know, there are people that are doing it, but it's peaceful. Yeah. You know, and the police came up, and there's no bottle throwing, there's no billy clubbing.
Well, you know who's really... Hang on just one second. You know who's... hello? I'm still down here. I didn't even think about it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I want to wrap up soon anyway. Nothing's happening.
Which is good.
Oh, it's not it.